Can we take a moment to appreciate the beauty of these zinnias? They are gorgeous. Look at this peppermint one here. Hi, my name is Daphne, and today it is beautiful outside. It literally feels like it's about 70 degrees outside. The sun is somewhat out. It's gorgeous. For early June, I would expect that should be hotter and more muggy, but I'm not going to complain about a good day because with good days, you get a lot of stuff done. So it is kind of later in the evening, but I need to weed. We definitely need to do some weeding, and so I'm going to try to do as much of that as I can. We also need to clear some more mulberries. We had a huge storm yesterday. Thank God the tarp actually held, and I see just 3 separate areas worth of mulberries that need to be collected, thrown into the compost bin. Have some actual compost from the kitchen that I need to empty out. So we have a few minor things to do first. So I'm going to take you around with me through the garden space. We're going to do some general garden cleanup as well as checking on the garden space because we have life and it's in abundance. So let's go. But here is the garden space. The grass nails need to be cut, but we did a lot today. I actually removed all of the mulberries from that tarp there, and I'm actually going to move the tarps further up just to allow for it to hold more and not completely just spill them all during a storm. Although that didn't happen this time, I appreciate that. But what I didn't show you guys this time was actually what I have planted inside of these containers. So we do have our sunflower. I feel like it's a red one. Hopefully it did not stunt and it gets to its full size. Sometimes when you mess with sunflowers, they don't get to their full size. I'm crossing my fingers that this one is still growing. With all of this peppermint, this chocolate mint here, which I do need to cut before it starts to flower or before the bug damage gets any stronger, but chocolate mint is beautiful. We have our only surviving eggplant here. Look how beautiful she is. I think we might have a little bit of pressure, like bug pressure here, but I actually did see a spider on here. Hopefully that's going to keep it down. I would sprinkle some eggshells, just some crushed eggshells around. I don't think it's going to deter anything, to be honest with you, but I had some. I thought I should use them. It won't harm the plant. I'm hoping that it deters the slugs, but I don't think this is slug damage. I don't know what that is. I need some diatomaceous earth. I will go pick that up. And I do know the eggplant can actually reproduce by itself. I'm hoping that's the case because this is the only eggplant I have successfully germinated from seed out of like maybe 8 to 9 seeds, and it is beautiful. We also have a cabbage here, which is starting to head up. Look at that. In a 5-gallon bucket. Now I know some people are kind of in a flux about growing in 5-gallon buckets. Some of them are actually in 2-gallon buckets, but just because of the plastics, microplastics are in everything. I do say that you should grow in what you have. So I have 5-gallon buckets with holes drilled out in the bottom, and so I happen to grow in those. Let me take a moment to appreciate this lemon balm, which I need to cut down before it decides to send out a flower, because once it flowers, it actually starts to taste and smell like soap, and we don't want that. We have our struggling but beautiful white sage over here, which I use for smudges, but it actually rooted. It rooted from the stem right here. So it rooted here. This is one here. So beautiful. We also have another cabbage which is starting to head up. I do see some insect damage here as well. And full size, it doesn't look like it's stunted too much, but it is also growing in a 5-gallon bucket. So you most definitely can grow cabbage in a 5-gallon bucket. I definitely have enough garden space to be able to grow cabbage in one of these beds. It's just towards the mid part of summer, it gets messy and chaotic, and just not a good idea. So at least with the buckets, if the cabbage decides to die, or if I need to harvest it, or if it sends up a flower shoot, I can just plop a squash in it and call it a day. So that is the thing. So we have an eggplant there, a cabbage, another cabbage here, some more chocolate mint here. We do have actually another cabbage with a hole eaten right through the center part. I mean, this worm just went right to like the most tender leaves. Yeah, I definitely do need to get some BT, but it's doing beautifully. Right behind the banana mint and the hyssop. And then we do have our rosemary here, a 2nd year Sage, I mean, how beautiful is she? Just gorgeous. A thorough surprise plant. I have never had a sage overwinter on me with no additional help. And we had so much snow this winter, which might have been the reason why I came back. I don't know. But it is beautiful. I can probably actually harvest some of this now and dry it. And I use it around Christmas time and Thanksgiving time for dressings and stuff. So it'd be wonderful not to have to fight in the store for fresh sage. And then we do have our calendula. I do need to start collecting some of these flowers for like lotions and soaps, but can we appreciate just how beautiful it is? That's the reason why I haven't collected any yet, because just looking out of the window every morning and seeing these flowers just like brings me so much happiness. So I can't convince myself to take them yet. But oh my God, the beauty of that flower. And look at this monster, the only surviving mammoth sunflower we have, and I am just hoping that she reaches full size. She will be beautiful. The only problem is the bird population is incredibly aggressive. Typically when these things start to head up, I find them decapitated. So I do have a broomstick handle here, and I actually have it on a string because the wind was starting to blow it over. I was really nervous about it being blown in half, but I'm thinking maybe I can like attach the head itself to the broomstick, at least while it's still this size, and hope to just keep the head intact until it grows full size. It is literally supposed to be above this trellis. It would be so beautiful. This beautiful herb garden. Already ready to be harvested. Now in this bed we did pull up the last of the salad greens because they all bolted. We do have a massive infestation here of cabbage worms or something. Cabbage worms and slugs basically are eating my collard greens. We did plant out the last survivors of the collard greens that are kind of in rough shape, so there are food scraps underneath them. I watered them in pretty heavy. I will water them in every day to try to see if maybe they will recuperate. And then here we have some very tiny turnip greens, mustard, I do believe, Japanese mustard. I don't know if they're gonna make it. They were actually in their little pots for way too long. They stunted. They don't look too good, but I do have them inside of these individual little cups. And hoping just to give them a barrier from the slugs, even though that may not deter them too much. And the wind, just protect them a little bit, and maybe see if we might also have some mustard greens growing here as well. That would be nice. The collards we did plant out, I mean, they have some size to them, but they are being they're being demolished by the cabbage worms and everything else. So it is definitely time for me to find some type of bug control to help them out, or I might lose all of my collard greens for Thanksgiving, and I would not appreciate that. Inside of the actual growing space, now it did rain yesterday. I thought about refilling the rain barrel to give them some water, but I don't think they need it. But in here we have so much growth. I actually did clean out all of the mulberries, so no more are actually dropping onto the garden beds, which I thoroughly appreciate. Can we take a moment to appreciate the wild beauty here? Our zinnias are almost about to open up. I'm not exactly sure what color they will be, but hopefully they're amazing. Every now and again we do get birds pecking away at them. I don't know why they do that. We have a ton of volunteer borage. I might just let all three of these come up, see what we get. It definitely brings in the pollinators. And then some nasturtiums. We also have a little baby one coming in there as well. The tomatoes are doing fine as well. I mean, they're all a little flimsy, like this one, for example. I think they were leaning over, so I'm gonna have to wait for this one to prop back up. But you have they're putting on some size, so they're definitely they're a little leggy. I'm waiting on them to thicken up a little bit. It looks like our Thai basil was doing wonderful. Smell is heavenly. And you guys, take a moment to appreciate how beautiful these marigolds are. I mean, look at this color. And the scent is so powerful. I put it over here near the tomatoes, but I also put it near this butternuts, this honey baby squash as well. I'm hoping between the scent from the basil and the scent from the marigolds that this one might stand a chance in making it to fruit. So we'll see. We also have our lettuce leaf basil, which is doing okay. Hasn't been completely eaten up yet, so that's great. Let's take this head off so we can thicken out a little bit. Then a very healthy looking borage here, which is huge. I mean, look at the stem already on that thing. And our tomatoes are looking fine. I do think this one, Cherokee Purple over here. And you know, that's the problem. I'm gonna have to review some of these videos. I actually don't know what that is. I think it might be an Amish paste, but it does look healthy. Look at this deal, starting to create flowers. All right, I see a container, so nope, that's the basil's container. I think this one is a Cherokee Purple as well. It replaced the other plant that died. And I do see flowers coming in here. And look at this mugwort. It always brings in the most interesting bugs. It was covered with ladybugs a few years ago, probably because it was also covered with aphids. But I don't have any worries about that. I'm thankful to have it. Eventually I will cut this down. I do use the ones inside of the enclosed bed for mugwort tea. And then the one in front of the house, the patch in front of the house, I use for smudges. But mugwort tea is good whether you smudge it or whether you use it as a tea. It is really, really good as a sleep aid and a digestive aid. So I always grow this plant. This one was actually a volunteer plant. I think a bird must have pooped out the seeds, but it is amazing. This back here actually looks like mustard green or a turnip or something back here. That's interesting. We do have a honey baby squash, which is slowly starting to trellis out along the irrigation area. Look at this. Another beautiful marigold here. Bunches and bunches of borage. And then another tomato and Abe Lincoln. Oh, about to get some flowers here. Look how beautiful it is. It is going to be absolutely wild and crazy as the weeks progress, but I love seeing it. I think this one over here, get this honey baby squash here, with the nasturtium coming in on both sides to hopefully give it some time. This is my mystery tomato. Like I said, watch and see, it ends up being like a Cherokee Purple or something. But it is very healthy. Oh, a little nasturtium. And we did cut down that stinging nettle as well. The next chop is actually going to be taken in for tea, but it got a little too seedy for me. Look how this is trellising. So cute. What I'm going to end up doing is just get some worm castings, or maybe even just some probably worm castings, and just bury the stem just to give it its best chance, because the butterflies and cabbage worms out here are intense. So when you bury the stem, it'll give it a chance to actually root in multiple places. And then I also just planted a bunch of nasturtiums just to deter the scent. Then we have our beautiful peppers here and one long squash that are doing very well. The ones on the porch actually have a pepper or two on them, which is interesting. These are actually, they're usually slower just because they get more sunlight back here. And like I said, my peppers don't really seem to like a lot of sunlight. But they all have flowers. They're catching up. Actually, do see a little baby pepper right there. Then, oh, this is going to be a red zinnia. How beautiful that's going to be in that corner. We have, oh my God, our okra. I actually think it needs to get out of this. I actually need a cage around it. I just don't have any more left because I have them around the sunflowers in the front of the yard. But look how beautiful that one is. I think this one is trying to catch up, but it was shaded by this mess of a nasturtium plant. I think this might literally be one plant. That is crazy. I have to move it a little bit so this one can actually get some light. These beautiful nasturtiums as well. And then we have a little okra here too. I didn't have another I didn't pull out another garbage can for it, and I don't have the space. I'm thinking these two probably could have shared, but this one is actually going to come out of this garbage can soon enough. The reason why I put them in these garbage cans is twofold, because the other plants around it are growing so thickly that they actually do need some space to be able to grow and not be crowded out. So it does shade them from the other, well, protect them from the other plants from encroaching on their light space. Not so much this one, but but it also protects them against like the squirrels and everything else that's digging, because things like to dig in this bed as well. And while they're still so young, they can be dug up. So I put that in there to hopefully help them grow. But it looks like they're doing just fine. This one's struggling a little bit, but it's okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Get this nasturtium. I love the little red ridges around these. Look at that. And then we have our squash doing amazing in here. Starting to trellis out. I think this might actually be a summer squash, both of those. Look at this. 3-year bunching onion that I purchased at the grocery store. Literally just chopped it down, put it in here, it's still going strong. I cut from it whenever we have a salad. And look, we have another okra in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's the smallest. I thought it was actually going to die. It literally had like 1 leaf, and now we're starting to grow back. And this one was the one I actually planted in here today, the surprise one that just popped up. So I'm going to keep them both in here and just see which one of them makes it. Whichever one is the strongest will be the one to take this space. They both can't grow or it'll stunt the plant, but yeah, whichever one is the strongest and grows up will be the one to have the space. They're definitely on the leggier side from the other ones, but hopefully they make it. It would be nice to have this be an okra bed. Look at this bed. So we do have all of our Kellogg's breakfasts, which are beautiful. And our mint here, but not our mint, our basil. So all of our Kellogg's breakfast growing strong. These are actually saved seeds, so I don't know if they're actually going to be a true orange tomato, but they should, because all of the tomatoes that grew here last year were only orange tomatoes, so I don't think they should have cross-pollinated, but we'll see. We have our beautiful marigolds in here and our basil as a scent deterrent, and the healthy population of birds we got around here as well. Look at these flowers, pale pink. And then we have our peas, which are still growing. Still up there. I don't know what they're clinging to. But that is incredible. And they're still putting on flowers, even though we do have peas now. Look at this one, for example. But in any case, we have a ton of peas that actually need to be harvested. I don't want actually pea seeds. I have enough pea seeds, so I do need to come out here within a day or so and harvest some of these peas. But that is, you can actually eat the husk as well. I mean, it has strings. I mean, it has like 2 strings running on either side, but like, what are these? When they're young, they're not so sweet. I mean, they definitely don't taste like the other ones did last year, which were absolutely horrible and grainy and just felt like you were chewing on bread flour. But look at that. Beautiful. It's, how many peas in here? 3? There's 6 peas in here. I think 6 or 7 is about what you're gonna get from these. But absolutely delicious. It's nice now to actually have a snack in the garden space. We have peas, we have basil, we'll have cherry tomatoes in about another couple of weeks. We are behind about 2 to 3 weeks because from watching the videos last year, we actually did have tomatoes around this time, I do believe, at least cherry tomatoes. But it's okay. It'll catch up. Absolutely delicious. And a peppery snack of a nasturtium flower. I'm in awe of this garden space. I mean, I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your gardens are doing beautiful. Aww. There's some canary, there's some cardinals actually playing on the roof. It's so cute. When you have fruit around and there's a water source, you're gonna get the colorful birds, the cardinals and the blue jays and the finches, yellows and blues and reds, just chasing each other around the garden space. So it's beautiful. But in any case, thank you guys so much. And here's the crows now at the top. I would show it to you, but my camera's not gonna be able to zoom in enough from what I'm looking at. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your gardens are beautiful. Some of you guys, I've seen your garden spaces and I know they're absolutely gorgeous. So we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep doing work every single day. I'm going to come out and do a little bit at a time. I think that's actually more manageable, is to come out early and do your weeding early. That way during this time of the day you can just kind of sit back and enjoy the garden space versus having to put in the work and effort. I digress though. But thank you guys so much for watching. You have a great and beautiful day. Peace.